Friendly Neighborhood Hairstylist here. You read the title right. I'm cutting her hair. So what had happened was I needed a haircut before quarantine happened, and my ends are really bad. I don't know if you can tell.
They're a little wispy.
A little wispy, real broken, lots of split ends. I mean, the thing is, last time I got my hair cut, I got it cut to here.
It's a lot of new growth happening.
So I was thinking, I'm not the only person in this scenario that's gonna need a little bit of help. And the thing that you really cannot do on yourself is the very ends of the hair, especially on a shorter haircut. It has to be pretty precise in ways that you can't do on the back of your own head. So I was like, okay, I can make her do it. I can talk her through it. I can coach her. This is just gonna be like a Bon Appetit episode. It's fine. And then I can maybe do my own layers. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I thought also, like, while I'm talking you through it, I can
Right.
talk you guys through it just in case you need to know for your own life purposes. Obviously, I would always say go to a professional, but in times like these,
We realize you're probably already doing it. So, might as well get a little extra help.
there we go. So that being said, let's get into the haircut.
I'm so excited.
I'm not. First things first, I'm gonna go get my hair totally wet. That just is gonna give AnnaLaura a little bit more control and make the haircut more precise. BRB. So step 1, wet hair. Step 2, something to make the hair easy to comb, a little bit slippery. I'm using the Bumble and Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil.
Wait, can't I do this?
It's already in my hands, but I'll stop after this. I'm a control freak, guys. If you feel my hair getting dry at any point, you got a spray bottle.
Okay, I'm gonna brush your hair.
Go for it.
Such a sister thing to do.
I know.
Brushing each other's hair.
So while she brushes my hair, let's talk about what you'll need. You'll need a comb. You need a comb. A hairbrush will not work. A wide tooth comb will not work. You need a comb. Then you'll need scissors. If you can find anything remotely close to a professional scissor, I recommend, because this shape is so much better than using kitchen shears. I have had to use kitchen shears to cut people's hair before in a pinch, but it's a lot harder. It's the difference in working with a crayon versus like a fine tip pen. And then if you wanna get fancy, maybe you can buy a set and you would get some thinning shears like this. And you can see this has a little spiky guys. That means it's only gonna cut parts of the hair as you snip down. And that just helps to take out weight, and it can also help to disguise any little lines you have in a hairstyle. Go ahead and have your hair parted where you normally part, which I already do. We're ready for the next thing. If you have a cape, use it, but if not, a towel. In a pinch, a t-shirt that you can wash also works.
This feels so official.
Oh my gosh.
All right, what do I do now?
Next, we're gonna section. You do have to section the hair. Very, very important. This is the one step you cannot skip. Actually, they're all ones you can't skip. So you're gonna find the apex of the head. You're gonna lay the comb on top of my head and find the very highest point like it's a mountain. So you would actually hold it like this and find like the highest point. From there, you part down and everything in front of the ears gets put into a clip.
Yeah, this is gonna take me 8 hours.
Oh yeah, I was telling AnnaLaura the first time I ever did a haircut in cosmetology school, it took me 8 hours. It took me the full day of school. So yeah, and obviously, I mean, the straighter, the cleaner you get these lines, the better the end result is. AnnaLaura is already a very precise human, so I actually don't actively have to tell her that. But if you're somebody that tends to just kind of go for it,
Maybe don't.
my roots.
So exposed.
I mean, I don't know how much longer this is gonna last in North Carolina, so like, you might be doing some highlights, sis.
Holy moly. All right.
Okay, so at this point, I need to make sure that I'm sitting with my legs uncrossed, my weight even, and I am straight up and down because Anna's gonna be using me as a guide to cut straight. That's the base. So we have to have it here. So your job, person getting your haircut, sit still, sit straight. For the back, just to make it easy, let's go ahead and have you split straight down the middle and put each side into a clip, and then we'll go from there. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the supplies that you need, but sectioning clips are obviously key. Now you're ready to begin your haircut, mostly. So there's a couple people that I really recommend on Instagram to follow because their videos are so helpful if you're trying to cut hair, just to kind of picture what you're doing. Okay, so I found this video from Black and Blonde, which has kind of similar shapes to what we're doing here. The haircut itself is shorter than the one I'm getting, but I can use it to help AnnaLaura. So Black and Blonde actually has some really good stuff. Behind the Chair posts really good haircutting videos. And then there's Chanel Mariano, who posts these really cool videos of haircutting that involve like animations. So you can see how when you put the hair in a specific place and you cut it, how it then falls. And if
Super satisfying.
it's really cool. And if you're learning how to cut hair, or if you find it really interesting, this will help you so much. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of follow this video so AnnaLaura can see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna do the best that I can to use my words, but this is my hair, so we wanna keep it safe. All right, so now that everything is all Here, you get to learn how to use your tools.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So here's how you hold scissors. You stick your ring finger in this hole, thumb in this hole.
Okay.
Pinky controls this, and you snip. Try it.
Gosh, I should not have had caffeine.
And then you have your comb. You use the comb to brush the hair to where you want it, and then you hold the hair and you cut it.
I think I can handle that.
Okay. So now let's talk about how to comb the section.
Okay.
It's not all that crazy, but what you do want to do is you want to make sure that when you're doing this, the hair that you're cutting is in a straight line from the root to your finger.
Okay.
So you want there to be some tension, so you're pulling on the hair a little bit so it's straight. You don't want to go like this,
Right.
or just grab it, because if I were to let go right here, this will be all kinds of wibbly wobbly. So you want to comb and get it in a nice straight line, and especially on these back sections, you want to make sure that the line is straight from this side and from this side.
Okay.
And when you hold with 2 fingers, you can just hold between the two. I actually have a finger gap, so I layer mine like this, and that keeps it nice and then you use your fingers as a guide to cut your line. Try it. Yep, then once you have it, you're ready to cut. Last rule, you only cut to your second knuckle, never past. When you start cutting past, you lose control. It's not gonna be as precise, but also you will most likely cut yourself.
Oh wow. So when it's here, I only cut to my knuckle.
Then you drop,
Let it go.
and you comb, and you would pick up just the tiniest bit of your last section that you cut, so that you know where it is. Yeah. There you go. Wow.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh no. Mic down. All right.
So now you're ready to drop down the hair.
Sweet.
And for most of you guys, you're gonna be dropping down a little section right here. Ideally, if you have very long hair, that might just be a breakage section, so you wanna drop down enough to where you have some hair to cut. That's a good thing to remember if you're cutting long hair, because I have accidentally in the past, like, I've cut that section, and then the whole haircut ended up being too short because I used that as my guide. And then you're just cutting a nice straight line at whatever length you want it to be. You get a curveball.
Great.
Because my hair is slightly angled because of the lob shape. So you're gonna be cutting kind of like an upside down V. Thankfully, you should still be able to see it from when Jordan did it.
Right.
I'm really hoping. And the reason that I had her do the whole thing first and then section the bottom ones out is just because it gives you more control than if you're trying to clip up a section and pick out your starting section at the very beginning.
You have a lot of trust in me.
I have so much trust in you. Honestly, it's not gonna be worse than the haircuts I got in cosmetology school. Like, no tea, no shade to the other kids in my class. We were all just doing our best, but
I'm happy with these sections.
awesome. At some point, you're gonna wanna talk to the person whose hair you're cutting about how much you wanna take off.
How much hair do you want to take off?
I'm thinking like an inch.
No, that's about how much breakage you have.
Yep, try to talk to me. Try to tell me what's happening.
Okay.
Cause I have to like look down. I can't do
I will
anything.
over communicate with you. All right.
This is so scary. I'm like blindfolded basically.
She's scared.
Alrighty, here's our video again.
So cut from the outside in.
Yes. So you're always gonna cut from right to left.
Okay.
Unless you're left-handed, in which case you're gonna cut left to right.
Okay then. Oh my god. How do I comb, keep tension, and then cut?
So,
Oh, I keep the scissors in my pocket until I'm ready.
actually, it's called palming this year, so they kind of live here. So you see, like, I just pulled it in. You can hold the comb. Hold that. This can go in your thumb.
Oh, okay.
Or you can put the scissors down.
All right, here we go.
Why does this feel like the Parent Trap ear piercing scene?
Feel good about that cut. Feel good about
Awesome.
this length. Yeah, we're doing the mouth technique.
I don't know why I was closing my eyes.
Okay. Treat.
Now you just gotta do the same thing on the other side.
The angle of the section is a little diagonal, but I'm cutting straight. Or am I going in line with the angle?
You're ideally cutting like a slightly...
Okay, that's what I did.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's a little longer on this side somehow.
Well, I'm assuming that means the angle is steeper.
Think so? Oh yeah.
So one thing you could do is you take them to the middle, and if you could hold them, you could
Oh, yeah.
snip the other
Okay.
side to match the guide, and then you use that as an outside guide to meet your inside point.
I like that.
Okay. You've got your center point and you've got your outside point, so you're gonna look and see if they make a straight line or if there's any wibbly wobblies. You cut the wibbly wobblies. So yeah, let's talk about guides for a second.
I'm gonna pass out.
You took 25 minutes to cut the first section, no wonder my neck hurt.
All right, but it's cut now.
So what AnnaLaura has just done is create a guide. With our first little section, this is basically how it's gonna be angled, which you guys don't have to worry about the angle if you don't want to, how it's going to be angled, and the length that everything is going to be at. And that's called a stationary guide, because we're going to be taking little sections down to this guide that doesn't move anywhere. There are other kinds of guides, we're not gonna worry about it. That's too crazy. One thing we talked about is the direction that you're cutting. If you're right-handed, you're gonna be cutting right to left-handed, left to right. Nice to start in the middle, just because you have the most tension and control there, and then cut to the outside. And it's nice on that side because you can just kind of cut straight across. But then when you get to the right side of the head, it's kind of nice to go and drop down your 2 knuckles, and you have your guide on this side, and cut to it, and then drop down and cut to it, and drop down and cut to it. So basically you can always find your guide either to the side of where you're working or right underneath where you're working. So if you ever feel lost, look for your guide.
Let's go.
She's ready. All right, yeah, so now you wanna let down a section that is thin enough that you can see your guide through it. If you can't easily see your guide, then it's too big. Are you guys about ready for another hardest braid of Instagram video? Let me know in the comments. We've been trying to decide when we bring that series back.
Starting in the center, I'm not gonna spend 11 minutes doing this time because I know what I'm doing. Scissor in the armpit.
She hasn't quite learned how to palm the shears yet, apparently.
Yeah, we're gonna skip that.
She's learned how to pit the shears. Sounds like you're cutting exactly 1 hair at a time.
Oh my god, I'm using a freaking thinning shears. Don't move, don't move, no one move. I was like, why does it sound like that? Also, why is it not cutting?
Really excited about having your saliva in my hair. It might be a little bit wider this time than your last section was because the hair kind of grows out. So you're just going to continue that angle with those very outside sections. You want to make sure that you're brushing them so that they are straight up and down and you're not angling them over. I'm just really curious about what's happening right now. I know I'm going to get to watch the footage back later and be like, ah! Or, wow, she's so good. Oh no.
No, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
For the less cautious of you out there though, you don't want to cut your guide.
Yeah, that's how you just continue to get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how you create an entirely different haircut than the one you started with.
Hallelujah.
All right, let's check that length. Just so you know, every time your hairstylist, like at the very end of the haircut, does that number and it like matches up perfectly, that's what we're doing in our heads.
That section, I'm ready. This is great. I'm rolling. Found a gray hair.
No, you did not.
I did.
No! Cries an existential crisis.
Oh my gosh, your hair is cut. Okay, moving on to this side. Did not work out this time.
You gonna charge extra for your slobber treatment?
Saliva.
Ew.
This is the good stuff. You can't pay for this.
Oh god. Ew.
There is just slobber flying out of my mouth, so.
I taught you how to palm the shears. I can show you again.
No, I don't want to know. Over here.
Alrighty, well, AnnaLaura did a great job on the back. I'm gonna take over for the front. So basically, we're just gonna keep the guide going. So you can see the guide here where it's nice and straight, and then you can see my raggedy ends. So we're gonna brush it down and line the fingers up and cut according to the guide. Here's the fun part, if you're doing this on someone else, there's an ear there, which is gonna mess up keeping the hair nice and straight. So what you wanna do is actually start working from the front. You're gonna be standing in front of your person, have them turn their head at a 45-degree angle, and tilt. And then you can get a nice straight line from root to end. And for right here, you can see the line from AnnaLaura's cut, and I can see that that's gonna continue forward right here, and I'm just gonna cut that. And now you're gonna do the same thing on the other side, and once you drop this section down and cut it in line with the back section, you can check the front to make sure that it's even, because we need that. And I expect I will cut off more on this side because this side was a little bit longer last time I got my hair cut. Just a little wonky. It's okay. And we are even, because AnnaLaura did a great job. Heyo. Alrighty, now we drop down another section and we do the same thing. The good thing with this one is that we're not just continuing the guide from the side, we also have the guide underneath. So we've got double the guides. Hey, so I did both of my sides and I checked them in the front and they were completely even.
Wow.
That is you doing a darn good job.
That's you doing doing a darn good
Well,
job.
okay, it was a team effort, but literally that would not have happened had you not gotten it right the first time. Oh, look, and see how much it was layered? I just dropped down my new section and there's like, there's barely anything there. Just gonna boop, boop. So if you are doing this big section at the top, like I had AnnaLaura do and like I'm doing now, you just wanna make sure that the teeth are going all the way through and getting all the hairs that start here and start here and start here and start here, so they're all going down the same direction. Just like you would do if you were taking little sections at a time, you just wanna make sure that they get all in line before you cut. So all the way through, like teeth to roots, all the way. You can hold it at the end if you want. Oh my gosh, it looks so much better. Look at the ends. She's fresh. She's new. Now, I said I was gonna be able to do the layers myself. Am I right about that? That's the question, really. I'll give it a try. So I don't really get a lot of layers. I get a little bit because right now, the haircut essentially comes straight down and straight in. You've got this 90-degree angle. But when you cut layers, you cut out the corner. So instead of being this, it's this. Does that make sense? And that way you have a nice taper. So with layers, the easiest thing to do is to say everything from the ears down is the safe zone. We're not combing it, we're not touching it, it's staying there. That's gonna keep your haircut nice and heavy and thick looking on the end. Thick with like 5 C's, thick. So you're gonna take a little like 1-inch wide mohawk section on the back, and it's gonna be a mohawk that goes just to ear height. All right, AnnaLaura, actually I'm gonna let you help me with this. So she's lifting just the ears out, straight out. This is called 90 degrees, and she's cutting off the corner and letting it fall.
Okay.
So the higher you lift the hair, the more hair you take off, so the shorter the layers are. Right. So because I don't want short layers, we're not lifting the hair very much. If you want the minimalist amount of layers, you would brush down to a 45-degree angle, and you would cut it in line with the shortest point. For us, we're gonna pull it out to a 90-degree angle, so parallel with the floor. And here, you're cutting according to the shortest point, which is right in here. And so then these parts are gonna come off, and that's how we're gonna layer it.
And a straight line going up.
And if you want, when you do it, you can point cut. I would actually prefer that.
Okay.
Point cut is going in like this. The fun thing with point cutting is that you can make little tiny triangles, or you can really go in, and it all depends on how far you put the shears into the hair. So for you, Anna, I'm gonna say like 1.5 inches maybe into the hair, making those little triangles.
Yeah.
Once you have the tension, you can loosen it and just cut according to your fingers.
And I'm cutting according to the shortest piece.
If you want, you can drop it, or you can hold on to part of it and pick up your next section, and you're either gonna rotate around this way, or you're gonna rotate around this way, taking 1-inch sections that go kind of like this, like the lines on a basketball.
Okay.
And that's called the traveling guide.
Ooh, this is fun.
She likes the layers. Yeah, see, so the layers are like
Minute.
yeah. So, to connect the back to the front, I'm gonna get a little fancy. You can keep going straight forward with those same layers that we just did. The thing is, in the back, you're going from the ear up. In the front, if you do that, you're gonna layer all of the hair because you're picking up all of it. So as you get closer to the front, instead of having the bottom of your section be like right here, you actually want it to be farther up here to preserve as much hair here as possible. So you can keep working in panels forward, just don't pick up this hair below here. Leave that hair down so it can stay nice and long and full looking. You want to get more professional. You're going to do a mohawk section again, and I'm going to pick up some of the hair that we got layered in the back as my guide, and we're going to brush it straight up. Holy breakage, Batman. And now this is where we can decide how much you want to take off and how short you want the very front layers to be. So I'm just going to keep it straight. I'm going to go straight up. This is my guide from the back. I'm just going to cut off this bit here, and we let it down. So at this point, I'm going to pick up the rest of the hair from my temples up, and we want to brush it up so that this hair on the underside is straight. This side can be tilted a little bit, not this one. If you look here, we've got bottom guide, and up here we've got back guide. All right, and now we do the same thing over here. I'm just gonna travel the guide over to the side. And with this layering technique, you can part your hair anywhere, which is why I do it. And I gotta say, like, if there's any hairstylists watching me, I know this is the most basic of the basic haircuts. I'm just trying to like make sure that my sister could do it on me and make sure that I could do the rest of it on myself. We're not getting fancy here. This is about self-preservation. Yeah, this is about self-preservation in a time where I cannot get to my hairstylist. All right, and now I'm just gonna blend the side here because it looks a little bit choppy and I don't love that. Now all I have left to do is my face framing, and I'm not gonna do much because I don't wanna touch these corners at all. If I get rid of this, it looks wispier in the front. So these guys are like endangered species. We're not messing with it. I'm just gonna take stuff from my hairline right here, and I'm going in a diagonal in line with my hairline as much as I can. What I'm gonna do, because I wanna be able to part my hair anywhere, is I'm gonna brush this section straight forward, and I'm just gonna take off these little wispies here. I have breakage giving me enough face framing layers. I don't have to do much. And then what I wanna do is connect what I just did here with the ends here, and you do that by creating a straight line as much as possible. So I'm gonna brush all this forward. Just gonna grab this little guy that's sticking out. But the other thing that I have to do, because I've got a nice chunk of hair here and nothing here, is I want to texturize the ends just a little bit so it kind of throws the eye off of that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this guy in so we can be nice and centered. So you could do that by point cutting in like this, snip, 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 or you can do it with thinning shears, which is the same thing, just a little bit more random. Now, same thing on this side. I've basically already done the middle. I'm just gonna get my little diagonal parting going. This side has a little bit less of recession, so that makes it a tiny bit easier for me. And then we're gonna take some from the section we just cut, brush them both forward, and everything's even there. So then we're just gonna make sure that the diagonal line is established, and I'm basically just gonna cut this little corner right here. There's not much to do, just a little something. And that's her. Sissy, you wanna see?
Oh my god, it looks so good! Oh yeah, she looks refreshed.
Yeah, I needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I helped.
You did it.
I'm really glad. I really thought this was gonna turn into one of those like colossal fails. And then if I had to do it again, I would try to get a little closer to my guide every time. I got a little longer than my guide pretty much every time, so you might have a little tiny undercut.
So the good thing about doing that, when you cut a little bit longer each layer, it makes the hair bump under. But for me, that might be good because it's at the length now where it likes to flip out.
Oh.
So you might actually be helping me.
We'll
go with that.
Yeah,
We'll say that.
I like it. You want to give me some face framing layers?
Yeah, let me do some hair cutting.
Yay! I'm not paying her in any way. She's not.
Oh, yeah.
The law.
I'm not breaking the law. I'm related to her and I'm not getting paid.
Oh my gosh, Kayley. We didn't even talk about the fact that this is a new space.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to our new house.
Yeah, hi.
Our new office.
Welcome to the Kayley Melissa office. I'm really excited about it, actually.
Yeah. We'll have to do a more formal reveal of all of this.
Yeah, because it's not unpacked, really. No. So AnnaLaura wants some face framing layers.
I want these tendrils that I'm seeing on TikTok.
So this breakage, AnnaLaura basically wants to make this melt with the rest of the hairstyles. Yeah. Okay. So to frame the face, we're literally going to pick a section that frames the face. There's lots of different ways to do this. This is just how I like to. So we're going to go about an inch back from her hairline. I'm going to part diagonally following the diagonal of the hairline. You want to keep in mind that this part at the bottom next to your ear does not get cut any shorter. This functions as a guide.
Ooh, more guides.
Yeah, we love guides. Basically, when you make this section, you're deciding how thick the face framing section is going to be. Now, for me, going this far back meant that I had some little wisps. For Anna, because she has a really dense hairline, which I'm jealous of, this is actually too thick because if we cut all this, she would just, it would just be kind of chunky, just a little bit too much. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna take out some of the hair from this section and just move the diagonal closer to the hairline. So now it's a lot more wisp. Now here's the thing, her hair is dry. I obviously had her cut my hair wet. You have a lot more control with wet hair, but you can't see the weight of it. You can't see how heavy or light it looks. And so for me, because I'm a little bit more experienced and I want that level of control, I'm doing it dry. How is that for the very shortest point?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I think just from there to there.
Yeah, that's exactly it, is that we're going to comb it forward and get it as nice and straight as we can. Because this is long, I'm gonna work 1/2 at a time, and we're gonna be connecting the shortest part of it to the longest part. And then we're gonna go in, and because she does have more density right here, we're gonna texturize the ends a little bit so it all has the same amount of texture at the end. Before I do any of this, I'm gonna dust the ends of these a little bit because they're starting to split. So I'm not actually cutting these into any kind of line, I'm just going in and cutting the ends of each piece of hair. All right, so I'm actually just gonna kind of do a little slide cutting. It's a little bit easier than elevating all that long hair. Alrighty, so now that I've done the slide cut, I'm gonna go in and clean it up a little bit more. So now, this is just for being a hairstylist's sake, I'm gonna elevate it and I'm gonna bring it back down and I'm just gonna point cut a little bit more. And when I do that, it's adding in a little bit of layers. So like some of this stuff on top is a little bit shorter than some of the stuff on the bottom. Ooh. And it helps with texturizing too. And then I just wanna thin this out. Like that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna take a section a little bit farther back. We're gonna move that diagonal line back. We're gonna bring this forward. I'm gonna be picking it straight up. And I'm just gonna take my texturizing shears and texturize that little bit so that everything kind of flows better. But that way when you pick up stuff this way, there's like a little angle into it, so there's not just these random short pieces that don't make any sense.
Yay!
I like it. What do you think?
I will layers. I like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then just make the other side match.
Ooh, she's saucy.
Alrighty.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe how good your haircut looks.
It looks great. You killed it.
Yay! I don't think I'm gonna become a actual hairstylist anytime soon. But,
Too much? Too much?
It's a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna lie.
You did good though, and you did it in less than 8 hours, so that was better than my first haircut.
Well, you kind of did part of it too. So.
Yeah, that's true.
It probably would have taken me 8 hours if we're being honest.
And now AnnaLaura has some tiny little face framing bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she can't call me out for only having ponytail breakage.
Thank you so much for being so precise with my hair. If you guys do want to cut somebody's hair at home, like, I really do recommend looking up hair cutting videos. There's so many out there. But following that basic idea of section, and then you drop down little bits at a time and use your guide, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Especially
Just be careful.
Yeah.
Somebody's trusting you with their hair. Take time.
Yeah.
It's okay if you want to do that in this quarantine. We obviously did.
Yeah.
But, like, just be mindful.
So thank you, Sissy. Fun
You
little
are
hair cutting
very
time.
welcome. It was fun to learn a new skill.
Mm-hmm.
Always a good time.
Best of luck to all of you guys. You know, if you can avoid hair cutting, do. But if you have to, I hope this helps. And if nothing else, I hope it was super entertaining to watch AnnaLaura like very much freak out while trying to cut my hair.
A few years off my life doing that, but it's fine. Everything's fine.
Alrighty. Well, I hope that you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button to help support the channel. Also, we should acknowledge, like, hi, we're back together.
Yes.
Our state is in phase 1 of reopening, which means that our non-essential business is now being carried out together.
Whoop, whoop.
We're really excited about it.
We are.
So glad to be working
This
together
definitely
again.
could not have worked out long distance. So
Nah.
we're super excited about that.
Yeah. But yeah, and now we're back together and filming again. If you have any requests, leave it down below.
Yes, please do.
But if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button to help support the channel.
If you're new here, click that subscribe button to join the Braidaholic family here on Kayley Melissa.
And all of y'all can hit that bell icon and click every time to be notified every time I post a new video. But that's it for today. Whether you're old
or new
or a casual lurker,
thank you for spending time with us.
and we'll see you in the next video.
Mwah.
Bye. Waist to boob, I've got 6 inches. This is rude.
The Whitney Simmons joggers, take all 6 of them up.
I know, they could come up to my forever struggling because I love high-waisted stuff and I forever look like a grandpa who tucked my entire existence into my pants.